Hello everyone, welcome back to my garden. If you're new here, I'm Dominika. I post balcony and container gardening content, mostly from my own space, sometimes from some other projects. But I just came back home from a 2-week holiday, and while I was away, no one was taking care of my plants. And ironically, obviously, when I was away, it was really warm, really sunny, and not a single drop of water fell from the sky. But now that I'm home, it's been raining non-stop, like literally day and night for the entire week. So my plants went from super dehydrated to oversaturated in a matter of one day. So that's a little bit ironic, but everything survived for the most part. So today I would like to give you a quick tour, a quick update on my space, show you what's blooming, show you how the plants are growing, and share with you a couple of ideas that I have for my garden for these upcoming weeks. So just as a quick reminder, I garden in zone 8. We have hot and humid summers and cold and dry winters, and my garden is northeast facing. As you can see, it's in the shade for most of the day. It receives a couple of hours of morning sunlight, but really not a lot. The railing planters here receive about 4 hours, but the rest of the balcony does not receive nearly as much, and there are obviously areas that don't receive any sunlight at all. So let's go. We are gonna start our tour today from this end of the balcony. This is my full shade garden. Not only does it not receive any sunlight, but because of the privacy screen, it's pretty dark in here. As you can see on the screen, I am highlighting the video a little bit so that you can see it better, but it is pretty dark, as you can tell. So I have a lot of shade-loving perennials in here. We have 3 hostas, Hosta Royal, Halcyon, and Whirly Pop. I have some heucheras, and I had a couple of ferns. One is over here, Polysticum polyblepharum, and this is a silver fern that I think is dead. It started to put on some growth, and then when I went on holidays, I came back and all of that new fresh growth was dead. So I'm really hoping it bounces back, but we will see. Above we have Podophyllum spotidoti, another beautiful perennial plant, and Acer Orange Dream. I'm gonna have to step back a little bit because the balcony is quite narrow, so I cannot really fit in there to show you what I have in here. But we have a bay laurel, we have more perennials on the floor, ornamental grasses, and obviously Clematis montana Maylene. Now, when it comes to this clematis, if you follow me long enough, you know how beautiful this clematis was 2 years ago and last year. This year, I mean, it's still pretty, but it's not nearly as beautiful as it was. And that's because last year we had a terrible heat wave. And because of that intense temperature that remained above 38 degrees Celsius for at least 2 weeks, with the highest temperatures reaching 43 degrees Celsius in the shade, I did lose parts of the plant. Like the chunks of the plant, as you can see, kind of died back. So I had to prune it pretty hard by the end of summer. So I'm hoping that this summer is a little bit easier both on plants and humans, because it was pretty intense last year. So that's why the clematis is not nearly as stunning and as full as it was a year before. As I turn around, the poor tulips, look at them. I am so happy that when I arrived, I took a moment to record a couple of plants on the balcony, because that week of rain just really was merciless on some of the plants, especially on those tulips. They looked absolutely stunning. I shared with you earlier this week in one of my YouTube shorts how beautiful these were. So this is the second layer of my bulb lasagna. Previously I had crocus, pickwick. These tulips are called Crispian sweets, and then we'll have alliums a little later in the season. On this side, another bulb lasagna that I created. This one is more simple. This is a lasagna that blooms kind of all at once. We have China doxas and Muscari Mount Hood. Really love these muscaris because they are kind of ombre, like they are darker at the bottom, then a slightly lighter color, and the top is completely white. I've never grown this particular variety, but muscaris do really well in partial shade, attract plenty of pollinators. Absolutely enjoying this variety. I have it in another place in my balcony. I'm going to show you in a moment. Beautiful Acer Garnet over here. And now let's take a look at the railing planters. When I came back home, all of the planters looked like this. They were absolutely dead. There was nothing really that I thought could be saved. But then when it rained for a whole week, these pansies are pretty incredible. They just bounced back. Obviously they don't look nearly as stunning as they did before I left, but I mean, it's not that bad. Most of them actually bounced back except for these two containers, and I'm really sad that I missed on the daffodil minnow blooms. When I left, some of them were already in bloom, so I didn't capture it, and then when I came back, well, they were done blooming. They would probably have still flowers if they were watered during that time, but you know, that's just how it goes. A little grouping of plants on the floor, just some ornamental grasses and stuff, but take a look at the head planter. It's completely full. That just goes to show you how much water fell in that past week. Here we have my new clematis Josephine. Oh, the first flower is just starting to bloom. I did not even realize. Look at this. The first flower is starting to open. This is a beautiful pink double bloom clematis. I planted it earlier this spring, and we already have some flowers forming. So excited to see it in full bloom. On this side of the bench, scabiosa that is starting to produce some flower buds, some spring bulbs. Not sure if I will be able to enjoy these tulips at all. These were such a beautiful variety. They are, the type of kind of like peony shaped tulips. I think I might even have a variety name here. Yes, Tulip Amazing Grace. So because, as you can see, they did not receive enough water while I was away, they kind of, don't look the best. All right, let's take a look at the rose. So this rose was one of the David Austin recommendations for shade. Now they say that these roses still need about 5 hours of sunlight, which it does not receive in my garden. It receives probably about 3 hours of sunlight, but not even yet, like not at this time of year. It receives about 3 hours of sunlight in summer. But it did phenomenal last year. It had blooms, a couple of blooms all throughout the season. So this is gonna be its second year, and I already see some flower buds forming. The leaves are looking healthy, so I'm hopeful that this year I can enjoy a little bit more flowers. It has grown quite a bit since last year too, so I'm really looking forward to see it bloom this season. On the other side of the arch, I have a Clematis jackmanii. This is also gonna be its second season, and it never ceases to amaze me. I swear to you, I pruned that clematis all the way there, all the way until that first bar. And at some point I even thought, dang, I think I pruned it too hard. And there was like one branch, one twig remaining. But take a look at this. I swear to you, this is how much this clematis has grown in 2 weeks. I will pop a photo on the screen so that you believe me how hard I pruned it before I left and how much it has grown in that time. It's absolutely mind-boggling, and it's growing so beautiful and so healthy. It should produce some flowers pretty soon. Now, in the wicker basket, I have more of that Mascari Mount Hood. I'm a huge fan of this variety. I don't always keep all of my bulbs because, as you can see, I only have a couple of containers where I can plant something seasonal. For the most part, all of my containers are planted with perennial plants, so I still want to leave myself the possibility to try something new each year. But I am definitely be keeping these muscaris because they are so gorgeous. And now we have arrived into the veggie garden, veggie corner as I call it. We have a blueberry, and in the vertical planter we planted it together a couple of months ago. I planted some arugula, some spinach. We have some alpine strawberries, a radish, and a lettuce. And I also have another lettuce planter on the floor. Doesn't look very nice because first the period of drought, now the period of flood, but lettuce is pretty resistant. I think it should bounce back once the soil dries out a little bit. The strawberry didn't make it though. And last but not least, this absolutely massive, absolutely gorgeous hydrangea serrata blueberry cheesecake. Okay, so as you can see, everything is looking pretty good and pretty healthy. So my goal for the next couple of weeks will be to do a little bit of a cleanup, since I couldn't do it this week because it was raining non-stop. So I want to give my balcony a little bit of a refresh. I really wanted to switch these railing planters into something more seasonal, something more summery. So I actually went to a nursery today, and they didn't really have much yet, except for petunias and dahlias. Nothing was really in bloom just yet. And so I think I would just give them a little bit of a cleanup, and I will try to refresh them and keep them for a couple of weeks longer until I can find something to plant here for summer. I still don't know really what I want to plant in here, so I guess I will wait a couple of weeks longer. Then I'm also going to be planting summer bulbs, and I think I mentioned in one of my previous videos that I'm not going to be planting any summer bulbs in my garden this year. Well, I changed my mind. Honestly though, I have quite a bit of summer bulbs that I need to somehow fit in my garden. Absolutely no idea where I'm gonna fit it, but we'll worry about that later, I guess. So definitely we'll be sharing that with you in the upcoming videos. And I also need to transfer my tomatoes. A huge success story. My tomatoes survived my absence. I have plenty of tomato seedlings. I was really worried this might die when I'm away, and I placed them on a wicking mat, you know, with a little water reservoir under. It worked incredibly well, and I have absolutely no idea how come I did not think about this earlier. Like, I've had those wicking mats for years, and it never really occurred to me that I can place my plants on it and, you know, provide them with some supplemental water during my absence. So that's what I did with my seedlings, and they all survived, which I'm super happy about. So now I need to transfer the tomatoes to their final pots this week. So I'm also gonna be sharing that with you in the upcoming videos. So that's gonna be it. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for spending time with me in the garden. I hope that you enjoyed this little tour. If you did, I would appreciate if you could leave it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more container gardening content. I hope you have a beautiful day. We will see each other again next week.